Hey everybody, it's me Stacy at Scrapbooking Made Simple, and I hope you are having an amazing day today. It's been really busy here at the store, so this is my first opportunity to sit down and try and get this YouTube out for you. Today we're going to be working with Movers and Shapers dies by Sizzix, and as one of the largest independent retailers of Sizzix, we get a lot of questions, but most of them are about the movers and shapers, so I'm hoping that I can answer some of those for you today. I am going to go ahead and scroll on down and we're going to get started, okay? Down we go. Okay, I think that's pretty good. All right, so what I have for you today is my Sizzix Big Shot machine, and I have the new pink and black one. I finally broke down and we got a new machine for my YouTube demo, so we don't have that blue one anymore. And we have Movers and Shapers dies. Now people want to know, what exactly is a Movers and Shapers die? Well, it's actually two types of dies. There's the main die, which is any die that has this metal plate inside of it, and then it's any die that's a magnet. This happens to be the word hope. This is a Tim Holtz die. I don't know if you can see that, but it has the word hope, and it's a magnet, and it will fit into the Movers and Shapers base dies, and you can move it up and down and all over and just put that word anywhere you want it to cut. The premise of the Movers and Shapers dies is that you can either cut a plain shape. If this was taken out, you could cut a plain shape, which would be like this, or if that die was put in, let's take the heart shape. If we put a heart shaped die in there, it would cut a window out of your tag. Can you see that? It would cut the window right out. So that's the idea of the Movers and Shapers. It gives you the availability to cut a plain shape, just a standard die shape, or to make a window into something. So we're going to work with that today, and I'm going to show you how to do just a plain shape with this die. Now, this little piece is a very important little piece, and it comes with the Movers and Shapers that are being sold now. If you have an earlier Movers and Shapers, you probably don't have this piece, and you might want to consider getting one. We give them away. They're in the store. They're free. Sizzix provides us with them. And this is an injector foam. So if you're cutting just your plain tag, you want to make sure that that injector foam is in there. Why? Because if it's not, and you cut your plain tag, it's really hard to get in there and pull it out. You know, it gets down into the creases and it's really hard to get in there and pull that out. But with your injector foam, it keeps the paper a little bit higher than the actual die cut. So it's a little bit higher. It squishes down when you cut it, but then it helps pop that piece right out so you're not digging it out. Again, most of the dies that are sold today, the Movers and Shapers dies, come with this piece. But if you need a couple, we usually have them in the store. And if not, we can order a few more. And again, they are free. So I'm going to go ahead and cut just a plain shape out. Today I'm using the Tim Holtz Alterations die. It's his tag. And it's a very, very popular die. Again, because you can cut a plain tag or a tag with a shape. So I'm going to cut a plain tag for you. And again, I'm going to leave my injector foam in there. I'm going to put my paper on it. Now, as you can see, my paper is a little bit shorter than the die, and that's fine. That just means I'm going to make a tag that's a little bit shorter than what the die cut would allow, but it's fine. I've got my cutting plate, my bottom cutting plate, and my top cutting plate. And in we go. And I'm just going to crank it on through. And I'll try to be ginger with it so the table doesn't shake too much. All right, here we go. I've cut a plain tag. Easy peasy. But now I want to do something a little bit more than a plain tag. I want to add a window to it. So I'm going to take my die, and I'm going to take one of the shapes that I like. We'll use the heart for this one, and put it in so it's magnetic. I want it towards the bottom of the tag. If I wanted it at the top, or if I wanted it sideways or turned around, it's entirely up to you. You have the flexibility to move that die anywhere you want it to go. So I'm going to put it here. Again, I'm going to take my paper, put it right over the top. I've got my bottom plate because we always sandwich, and my top plate. Put it in. Wow, static cling, big time. Okay, and I'm gonna put it through. So I have now cut my heart shape out of my my tag. I did one with the word hope because that one says hope, and that's a Tim Holtz alterations die that you can put in right in there. And I cut it out, and there it is, and here it is backed in the white, so you get a better. Okay, and then you can embellish and color and spritz and smooch and whatever you want to do to your tags, but this gives you an opportunity to do a little bit more with any of the dies that have that metal base plate in there. The movers and shapers, the magnetic plates, the magnetic pieces, they sell about 40 different shapes and sizes, and we carry most of them, and they range from about $10 up to I think $15. So, and you just can collect them and use them in all the dies that have the metal plate. But what if you don't have a die that has the metal plate and you still want to be able to cut windows in shapes? I'm going to show you how to do that too. We're going to move on to that. I have here just a standard Sizzix die. This is a Biggs, and it's a tag. Okay, they embellished it with the leaf. I'm just doing the basic tag. So this is the die, and I'm going to take my paper, and we're going to just die cut out that tag. So I've got my bottom plate. I've got my top plate, which everything's sticking to because it's so new, it's still full of static. And I'm gonna roll that on through my machine. And right now we're just cutting a basic shape, just like you were cutting a regular Sizzix die, you were just doing your normal die cutting. Here we go. Here's my tag, okay? So obviously, this die is not considered a movers and shapers die because it does not have an opening here. It does not have that metal plate here. This is just your standard Sizzix die. And I've cut my shape out. Now, Tim Holtz, who is fabulous, we love him to death, came out with an ingenious idea. This is a base tray, and it is metal on the bottom, yet it has the thickness of a Sizzix die. See how thick it is? It has the thickness of a Sizzix die. So what that allows you to do is take any of your movers and shapers and it sticks right to it. So you could move it here, you could move it there, you could take a card and put it in here and cut the window out. You could take any of your regular Sizzix dies now and cut a window out. So I'm going to take this circle, I'm going to line it up with where I want it on my tag, and then I'm going to turn it over and just let it adhere to the base plate. Then I will take my bottom plate, my bottom cutting pad, because again you always sandwich, and my top cutting pad, put it over the top, and I'm going to send it on through. And what this is going to do is create a window for me in this die. And there I have it. So, by having this base plate, you can take any of the dies you have at home, or any of the cuts you make with your Cricut, or your silhouette, or your puzzles, or whatever it is you have at home besides your Big Shot. You can take all of those shapes, put them in with this metal plate, buy the movers and shapers, and make your own windows. It's fabulous. This is an ingenious idea, and we love Tim for it. Now, I'm going to do another one really quick. I will cut out another one of my basic shapes. I've got my paper, my plate, my top plate, And I'm going to send it on through. So here we go. I've got my tag again. This time I'm going to use his base plate here for use with some corners. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I want to make a tag that will hold a gift card. So I have got the two corners here. Actually, we'll hold them this way. Two corners here. And usually you would want to measure the distance between your gift card, and I'm going to kind of wing it a little bit. And I'm going to create, I don't know if you can see it, I'm going to create two little bracket holders, actually facing this way on my die, in my tag here. So I'm going to set my tag on. And I've got my bottom plate, and I have got my top plate, and I'm going to send it on through. So what I've now done is cut, I don't know if you can see, I've cut two little slits. That now will hold my gift card. And you can see something like this done also on Tim's YouTube channel, Tim Holtz, and he's done a very similar demonstration, only he's used the Vagabond machine, which is his machine, and it's fabulous, and we sell it too. I wanted to show how to do some of this with a Big Shot machine, since I know that's what the majority of our customers right now own. So simple, 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 using the tray, and you can use it with your Big Shot machine. The last thing I'm going to show you really quickly is with an envelope. So I've got my envelope, and I have got a cutting pad for his on the edge dies. And we sell these cutting pads. It's very much similar to a standard cutting plate that you would use. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put my cutting plate into my envelope. I'm going to pick a die, put it where I want, because my cutting plate is in between the two, so it's not going to cut on this side. It's only going to cut my heart out from the top of my envelope. I'm going to put it into my machine this way, face down, so the magnet holds. Now I've got a bottom plate already, and I put my top plate in the envelope, so I don't need to put another plate on top of all of this. And I'm going to send it on through. And what I've now done is cut a heart out of my envelope, which you can then back with paper, you can back with acetate, address it, send it. Really cute, very adorable. So if you're making a card, you could back this with the same paper you used for the card, just so your envelope matches. Really cute. So what did we learn today? We learned that a movers and shapers die is any die that has the metal plate in the die, and that it's to be used with the magnetic movers in the die to make windows. We've learned that you can go ahead, if you don't have any of those dies, you can take Tim's base plate and use any Sizzix die with it, with any of the movers and shapers, and there's about 40 of them that we sell. Okay, we learned that you can take it and put a cutting plate down into your envelope so that it doesn't cut all the way through. You're only cutting the heart, and then you can back it, and it's really cute. I did make just a real quick sample of the tag with double-sided. I double-sided it and ran a flower, twisty flower, and stamped it. Okay? So I hope that we've all got a better understanding of what it is we do with movers and shapers. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in an email or on the YouTube site, or give us a call. And of course, you can always purchase your items at scrapbooking-made-simple.com. Thanks so much, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.